We'll start with the prayers. Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama Devaah Bhadram Pashye Akshadhiryajatraah Stirairangaihi Stuštuvagam Sastanubihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuho Swasti na Indro Vrittasvaah Swasti na Pusha Vishvavedaah Swasti nastakshorarishthanemihi Swasti no Brihaspatirdadatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are studying the third chapter of Mandukya Upanishad with Shankaracharya. We are in the 18th verse now, and this particular chapter is a special chapter to describe Atma as Advaita Tattva. Very, very important topic in understanding Vedanta. Normally, our eyes and our sense organs reveal the world as Dvaita Pancha, as dual world. I am the subject, I am experiencing the objective world. The eyes, the sense organs are designed for Dvaitam as per the law of karma. Is this world which we experience in the waking state, is it a real world or is it a seeming world, apparent world? That is a question which Gaudapadacharya is asking in the third chapter. I hope the question is clear. We experience the waking state and the waking world. Is this waking state absolutely real? That means it exists in all the periods of time, past, present, and future. Or is it like the dream world, which is experienced but not real, it's unreal world? Gaudapada's contention in the third chapter is the dream world and the waking world are very, very similar in nature. This can be understood only when you use the Veda Pramanam as the source of knowledge for Advaita. What is meaning Advaitam? Advaita means there is only one thing which is existing in three periods of time. In the past, in the present, and in the future, always there is only one thing, and that is awareness. And that is existence. Now, this is what Gaudapadacharya wants to establish in the third chapter. Every verse in the third chapter is trying to explain that the waking state we are experiencing is similar to the dream state. You may believe it, you may not believe it. But the fact remains that it is a seeming creation. Whenever you're studying this Mandukya Upanishad, you must keep this back in the background. If you don't keep this fact in the background, you will not be able to appreciate the Bhashya, the commentary. So, with this small background, I will enter into the 18th mantra, Karika, where we stopped. We are in the end of the 18th Karika of the third chapter, almost towards the end. Here, Shankaracharya is trying to explain how this world is only in our mind and how we are deluded by it. He gives an example of somebody riding an elephant and so on. We will see that. But the main point you should understand is that from the higher level, from the Paramarthika level, there is no delusion, there is only absolute reality. Knowing that reality is my nature, I get the freedom called moksha. The other philosophers, they look at Advaita philosophy as completely unacceptable. What is the reason behind this? They say that Advaitam is Bhranti. Bhranti means delusion. All the Advaitin philosophers, including Shankaracharya, they are all deluded according to Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaiseshika, Purva Mimamsa. All those philosophers, they say that we are confused people. And then they give an example of a person sitting on an elephant. He thinks he's sitting on an elephant, but actually he's not sitting on an elephant. He's only imagining. So if it is an imagination, it cannot be real. This is the contention of the other philosophers. What about from the Advaitin standpoint? How does Advaita look at other philosophers? Advaitin accepts all the theories given by Dvaitins. He accepts Dvaita. But he adds one small point. He says, Advaitin means Shankaracharya. He says, Dvaitam I accept. But Dvaitam is a fact only in the Vyavaharika level. There is a higher level in which this Dvaitam is not there. From the higher level, we accept Dvaitam. We accept differences in the waking state. So he does not see any differences in the other philosophers because everything is that reality only. So Advaitin has no confusion at all. Bhagavad Gita, the 5th chapter, 18th verse says, Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavihastini shunichaiva shwapake cha pandita samadarshanaha. A wise man has samatva buddhi. He has an equal eye for everything in the world. Therefore, he's got humility. For him, everything is the same because everything is of a lower order of reality. Another mantra in the 6th chapter, Suhin Mitra Yudasina Madhyaste Tvesha Bandisho Sadhushwapi cha papesho samabuddhi vishishyate. See, in the Bhagavad Gita, there is one topic which comes again and again and again and again. One topic. What is the topic? Samatvam. Jnani has got a equanimous mind. Now, how does the Jnani have this equanimous mind? He is good-hearted to everybody. He has no enemies. He's always excelling in everything which he does. How is a jnani like that? The only reason is he sees one awareness consciousness principle behind all the people. Awareness. What is the knowledge he has? He has the knowledge of awareness consciousness. This is what Lord Krishna wanted Arjuna to get in the entire Bhagavad Gita. Whatever we are studying in Mandukya Upanishad, Lord Krishna wanted to explain that in the battlefield to Arjuna. In Vivarta Upanishad, the first chapter, fourth section, a very beautiful mantra, Mahavakya mantra, comes Aham Brahma Asmi Iti. Whoever realizes his nature, intrinsic nature, not the body mind complex, always has to know that he is of the nature of Brahman. Whether you are a seeker today, seekers in the future, seekers in the past, everybody who gets moksha understands his nature to be Brahman. Brahman means it is just a status, that's all. You see, there is nothing very difficult to know about that nature. It is my own nature when I am not with the body and mind and the world. That status is called as Brahman. And we all experience this in our sleep state. Nobody can say that he doesn't know what is Brahman. Only thing we don't know is we don't know that that is Brahman and this is Jiva. The same Paramatma appears as Jiva in the waking state. These are all very, very high level concepts of Advaita Vedanta. So, you have to slowly absorb this knowledge in your intellect. Your intellect might throw a lot of obstructions. How is it possible? How is it possible? How you are saying that Jiva is Paramatma and Paramatma is Jiva? How is it possible? At the highest level only we are talking of Advaita. So all these verses are talking to us from our Swarupa standpoint. Another question which Shankaracharya raises in this next paragraph, number 504. He says, Advaitam is the reality, it is Paramarthikam, it is a higher level. And it is a Karanam, it is a cause. Dvaita Prapancha is an effect, it is a Karyam. If Karanam is Advaitam, then Karyam should also be Advaitam. But our experience is not that the Karyam is Advaitam, Karyam is Dvaitam. How is it that we are not able to realize this Advaitam in our experiences if Advaitam is Karanam of the Dvaita Prapancha? Very beautiful analysis is going to come in the next verse, in the next Karika. Shankaracharya says, for other people, Prakriti is the Karanam. Prakriti means Panchabhutas. Paramanu is for the Nyaya Vaiseshika people. Those people, for Sankhya, Prakriti is the Karanam of the universe. One type of philosopher which existed during Shankaracharya's time. Another philosopher is Nyaya Vaiseshika. They said Paramanu. Paramanu means atoms. All the atoms put together is this universe. Very, very similar to science. What does Advaitin say? Advaitin says awareness or consciousness is the Chetana Tattvam, and that consciousness is the cause of this universe. Try to understand this point. Other philosophers say matter is responsible for, is the cause of the universe. Shankaracharya says consciousness or awareness is the cause of the universe. Whenever we study cause of the universe, we should remember this beautiful mantra in Taittiriya Upanishad, which comes in the 3rd chapter, Bhriguvalli. And this is a very famous definition for Brahman. What does it say? Brahman is that from which the entire universe is born, in which the universe is existing, and in which the universe is resolving. From this verse only, Shankaracharya brings out the point that consciousness is the karma. Can you see the connection? How brilliant is this commentary? See, when we don't have this commentary of Shankaracharya, our understanding of Vedanta will be very, very vague. That is why it's important. It takes time. It takes a long time to study this Bashyams, commentaries. For us also, all of you who are attending this, you know how long we have taken it. But it is a thorough study in Vedanta. World is a product, everybody agrees. But what type of product it is, there is a confusion. This is going to be explained in the 19th Karika, in the next Karika. This is just an introduction. The world, is it like the seed becoming a tree? Is it like the father creating a child? Or is it like the vegetables we cook and then it becomes a dish? कार्यकारणयोः समानसत्ता iti anubhavet. Shankaracharya says, in the Vyavaharika world, Karanam and Karyam, they enjoy the same order of reality. That is our experience. Seed and tree is in the same Vyavaharikam. Father and child is in the same Vyavaharikam. Karanam is Satyam, Karyam is also Satyam. But how is it possible that you are saying that consciousness is the Karanam, but it is not a part or parcel of this world in which we are in? That is the question answered in Karika number 19. I hope the question is clear, because only when the question is clear, now you will understand the answer. Again, I'll repeat the question. In the Vyavaharika world, Karanam and Karyam are in the same order of reality. But if you take it in the same order of reality, this consciousness does not become the Karanam for the universe. Because consciousness has to undergo a change. The whole concept, this particular question is answered by Shankaracharya and Gaudapadacharya by explaining to us the significance of the two orders of reality. Paramarthika Satya, and Vyavaharika Satya. Therefore, this particular Karika is extremely important for all Advaitins, all seekers of knowledge, Vedanta. You must keep this chapter 3, Karika number 19 in your notebook, and you must keep remembering this again and again. See, in Vedanta, what happens is the Shastra, the scriptures, they give certain indicators to reveal to us that reality, which is called as Atma or Brahman or Turiya. Our intellect has to spend some time understanding that nature, which the Upanishads wants to reveal to us. So when you are studying Vedanta, some of these important mantras, you should keep it in a diary, which I've said before also. So that sometimes you should spend revising these mantras and concepts. Now let us study this, how Vijaya chants this verse.
Mayaya bhidyate hetat Mayaya bhidyate hetat Nanyathajam kathanchana Nanyathajam kathanchana Tattvato vidyamane Tattvato vidyamane Martyatamamritam vrajet Martyatamamritam vrajet.
So in this commentary, Shankaracharya brings out 15 verses from different Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita and Purusha Sukta. 15 to explain one verse. Brilliant work of commentary by Shankaracharya for this verse because it's a very, very important verse. It explained to us the concept of Advaita. In the entire third chapter, the 19th verse is the most important verse. Let us try to understand this verse. What does this verse say? This Brahman is unborn. Brahman means what? I, the consciousness, am never born. Body is born, mind comes along with the body. But consciousness is ajaha. It appears to modify into this entire universe. It's a very, very big topic. See what does it say? The consciousness in me becomes this entire universe, including my body and mind complex. Our intellect has to get the capacity to absorb this knowledge. Now, how does this happen? That Turiya Atma becomes this entire universe. It is an illusion of Maya. We will explain this. Shankaracharya explains this very beautifully. So when you follow the analysis, then you understand this topic better. Now, when consciousness becomes the Jagrat Prapancha, the waking universe, does Brahman become change? How does Brahman become this universe? That is the topic in this verse. He says exactly like how the Veda becomes the dream universe, similarly the Turiya Atma becomes the entire waking state. That is the central message of this mantra, of this Karika. To explain this concept, see what happens is all the teachers, acharyas, they have to stick to the Upanishadic truth. They cannot change the Upanishadic truth. What is the Upanishadic truth? Upanishadic truth is my real nature is consciousness. Now, how to understand this truth? Our intellect requires logic. If the logic is not there, intellect will not go with belief. Belief can change anytime. So yesterday I believe, tomorrow I'll forget. Tomorrow I will not believe. Some other. But if it is a fact, then intellect wants to know what is the reason behind it. Here, Shankaracharya says, Karanam produces Karyam in two ways. Cause becomes an effect or a product in two ways. One way is the cause changes, transforms. Example is clay becomes pot. It transforms. So Karanam, cause changes. So now you see only the pot. Clay is gone. Gold becomes ornament. This is one type of cause and effect which we see, which all the philosophers, they only know this. Because in the world we see this. This is called in Sanskrit Parinami Upadana Karanam. Parinami means changing, changing cause. This is one side of one type of cause effect. Vedanta brings out another concept. What is that concept? That concept is called as Vivarta Upadana Karana. Upadana means what? Material cause. So changing material cause is Parinami Karanam. Changeless material cause is the Vivarta Upadana Karana. I will give you a lot of examples. See, for both, first you should understand the two concepts. One is a changing, another is changeless. The changing, everybody knows. Changeless is your intellect has to dive into it to understand. And then there are definitions given in Vedanta Sara, Swaswarupa Parityagena Rupantara Pattihi Parinami Karana. These are Sanskrit definitions of the two Parinami and Vivarta. So clay becoming a pot means clay drops its original nature and it becomes something else. A goldsmith is required to convert the gold into ring. What about Vivarta Karanam? Vivarta Karanam means like the waker without change, he becomes the entire dream universe. No action is involved. It is only a projection of some factor in the jiva. Because he doesn't know the wakerhood, he projects a dream. It is called Adhyasa Janyam. Adhyasa means superimposition. It caused because of ignorance. What are the other examples of Vivarta Karanam, changeless? Most of the examples, the moment I tell you, you will start understanding it better. Rope snake. Rope does not change to become rope snake. Remaining rope itself, rope appears as rope snake. Shell. In a beach, you see a shell. Shell appears as silver. Changeless. Vivarta karanam. Sand appears as mirage water. These are examples of changeless cause. Changing cause is gold ornaments, pot, clay pot, iron and the cutter, the instrument which comes out of iron. So all this show that the products do not exist separate from the cause. Now, let us understand what happens between Turiya Atma or Brahman and the waking state. From waking to dream, it was easy. You have to apply the same logic and say Turiya Atma is changeless cause. It appears as the waking state. Because it is nirvikara swarup. Nirvikara means it doesn't modify at all. Like the rope doesn't become, it doesn't transform, it is only transfigurated. So changing cause and changeless cause is what we are trying to understand here. And we have given all these examples of both changing cause as well as changeless cause. We have to keep in mind the changeless cause, which is Turiya Atma. Without changing, it becomes the waker and the waking world. Very difficult to accept, but this is the path. This is the only way to understand what is my real nature. And understanding this real nature, I will be ever free from identification with the body and mind as my nature. And when you do that, it is called as moksha. Because you don't have, the moment you don't identify body and mind, then all the sorrows are dropped completely. This is a brilliant commentary to understand moksha swarupaha. That is why this 19th mantra is very, very important, and the notes here are brilliant. About 15 verses are quoted by Shankaracharya to make us explain this Vivarta Upadana Karanam, changeless cause. Other philosophers have got attachment to their own philosophy. Because of that attachment to their own philosophy, they have hatred to other philosophers. Like Sankhya will fight with Nyaya. Nyaya will fight with Vaiseshika. Vaiseshika will fight with the Buddhists. So there's a lot of conflicts among them. Advaitin doesn't have this problem. Why? Because he has got two orders of reality. He says there is Paramarthikam, which is higher order, which is what is Atma and Turiam. Whereas you people are only arguing from the what happens to the rope snake. Is the rope snake of this brand or that brand? There's no use arguing on that. You have to understand the rope snake as rope. So similarly, you have to understand the jiva as Turiam. And the moment you accept it as Turiam as a higher order, then anything can happen in the Vyavahara. Advaitin accepts everything in the Vyavaharika state, but only difference is he says it is of a lower order. It is a very big transformation for a seeker. Advaita Paramarthika Satta blesses all the lower order. It lends existence, it lends consciousness to the jiva, jivatvam. So as a jiva, as a mother, father, all this is there. But one thing I should remember is at the back of our mind, this is one level of experience. It is one realm of experience. There is a higher realm of experience in which Turiya Atma alone exists. Bhagavad Gita, again, another beautiful verse about Samatvam. These are all verses of Samatva Buddhi. Atveshta sarvabhutana maitram karuna eva cha nirmamo nirahankarah dukkha sukha kshami. Two words are very important. Nirmamaha, nirankaraha. Nirmama means I don't have any association with anything in the universe from the Atma standpoint. I don't have ahamkara. Ego itself drops. Ego is something which is there in the waking state and dream state. Moment you go to sleep state, the ego is gone. So is ego real or unreal? Gaudapadacharya says ego is unreal. If ego I, ahamkara I is unreal, anything connected with that ahamkara is also of a lower order. Now, this is the advantage of knowing Advaita Vedanta. See, Advaitam is difficult philosophy. But the moment you understand clearly Advaitam, like we are doing it now, that Advaitam is a higher order of reality, Dvaitam is a lower order of reality, compared to Satya Advaitam, there is Dvaita Mithya. Mithya means it appears. I experience the Mithya world. While experiencing the Mithya world, in spite of our experiences of Dvaitam, Advaita Siddhanta, that means the Shankaracharya says, in spite of all these experiences in the waking state, I still hold on to the Atma Tattvam, which is absolutely real. Like a dreamer comes to realize he's not a dreamer, but he's the waker. Suppose a dreamer comes to realize, what will he think of the dream world? Same thing happens to us. Suppose I come to know I am ever free, I am moksha surupaha, nitya surupaha, nitya mukta surupaha. I am ever free from any association with the body. If there is no association with the Atma, with the body, there is no association with the world. Because world association comes only with body identification. For in Vichara Sagra, an advanced text in Vedanta, for a dreamer, dream world is real. A dream sickness can be cured only by dream medicine. You may have the best of the doctors in the waking, but your dream disease, only a dream medicine can cure. So what we should understand in this verse is both waking and dream are relative reality. They are not the final. They are not the absolute. In the third chapter, the previous verse, which I have quoted here, 18th mantra, the same message was given. The dualists, they perceive the Vyavaharika as the absolute reality, which is a misconception. That is the previous verse. The same message is being conveyed in the 19th verse. In Mandukya Upanishad, this message is conveyed. See how Shankaracharya brings all these verses is to show that Advaitam is the truth. In the sixth chapter, it is a Mahavakya chapter, Tattvamasi chapter. The Guru says, if you know one lump of earth, one lump of clay, you will know all the pots, big pot, small pot, red pot, blue pot, all pots you will know. Similarly, if you know consciousness is the cause of this entire universe is only name, form, and function. That is Vacharambanam Vikaro Namadeyam. World is only a name and form and function. The essence of world is consciousness. The essence of world is awareness. In the Vyavaharika world, bricks and wall, both are Satya. That is there in the relative world. Now, what is the relationship between Turiya Atma or Brahman and the waking state? That is the explanation in the 19th verse. Which is Vivarta Karanam, not the Parinami Karanam. Exactly like the waker becomes the dream, waker is the cause. Effect is dream. Similarly, Brahman is the cause, waking world is the effect. Where does the pot get resolved? Pot gets resolved in the clay. The waking state will get resolved where? In Turiya Atma or Brahman, because that is the cause. So, ultimate cause is this experiencer consciousness. Kshetrajnaha. In chapter 13 of Bhagavad Gita, this consciousness is called as Kshetrajna. Same message from in Mandukya. From Mandukya only the Bhagavad Gita talks about in 13th chapter. And also in Bhagavad Gita 2nd chapter. So we must remember the waker dream example. We must remember the ropes and rope snake, sand and mirage water, shell and silver to understand Turiyam and waking. See, this second chapter has got brilliant mantras explaining Turiya Atma from verse number 12 to 25. अच्छेद्योऽयम् अदाह्योऽयम् अक्लेद्यो शोषयेव च नित्यः सर्वगतस्तानुः अचलोऽयम् सनातनः. To understand this verse of Bhagavad Gita, you need the knowledge of the two levels of reality. What does this mantra say? That consciousness cannot be burnt, it cannot be cut, it cannot be wet, it cannot be dried up. It is eternal, it is all pervading. It cannot be moved from one place to another place. It is very, very old, ancient. All this you will understand only when you know Atma is Vivarta Karan, changeless cause. So world is Vyavaharika Satyam, lower order of reality. Turiyam Brahman is Paramarthika Satyam. Now, why does this, what is the condition which makes this change possible? A waker becomes dreamer and the dream world because of Nidra Shakti. The ability to forget the universe gives rise to the dream world. The ability to not the ability or the ignorance of the rope makes me project rope snake. Maya Shakti. What is Maya Shakti? Projecting power and wheeling power. Wheeling power is the Avarna Shakti. I don't see the rope, therefore I project. I don't see the waker, therefore the jiva projects a dream world. I don't see the Turiya Atma. I am ignorant of Turiya Atma. That power of ignorance produces the waking world. That power of ignorance is called as Mula Avidya. Mula Avidya means what? I don't know my nature as Turiyam. All this Avidya, Maya, Nidra, all this is Vyavaharik Satyam. It is not in Paramarthika. At Paramarthika level, there is no ignorance. Ignorance is at the Vyavaharika level. So other people, when they listen to the Shastra, they conclude Dvaitam is real. Whereas Advaita Vedanta says Dvaitam is lower order because Turiya Atma is Vivarta Karanam. The whole verse is about changeless cause for the universe. Brahmanic Upanishad, these are all different mantras. Brahmanic Upanishad, chapter 2. You see, Shankaracharya's main quotations in Mandukya Upanishad comes from Brahmanic Upanishad. That's a favorite Upanishad of Shankaracharya. So here in this particular verse, chapter 2, section 519, he says how this Maya Shakti becomes the entire waking state. The same Brahman is the perceiver of the waking state. Purusha Suktam, 21st verse. You see another verse which he quotes. See, when you study all these verses together in this format, in one verse explanation, then the meaning of Vivarta Karanam becomes more impact. It has a better impact in our intellect. In Purusha Suktam, Ajayamano Bahuda Vijayate. Ajayamano. Without being born, Turiya Atma multiplies to become the entire universe through Maya Shakti. Whenever we see the world and experience the world, like in our classes, we should always remember there is some power. In that absolute reality called as Turiyam, there is power, which is projecting this universe. I have to drop this Maya Shakti and then realize that pure nature, which is Vivarta Upadana Karana. So, the world gets transformed is Parinamika. World is transfigurative is Vivartakara. I'm using two Sanskrit words, but that is the way he uses it. So Parinami Karanam is with transformation. The whole product changes. Like for example, milk. I'm sure everybody will understand. Milk is what? Milk turning to curd. Is it Parinami or Vivarta? Is it changing or changeless cause? Milk changes to become curd. The seed transforms to become tree. The clay transforms to become the pot. Brahman doesn't transform because it is nir-avayava. Nir-avayava means it doesn't have any parts. Brahman or Turiya Atma is partless. Ultimately, our understanding of the world is that entire world is resolving into this Turiya Atma, and this Turiya Atma is without a cause, without an effect. It is alone. It can exist alone. And knowing that, I get moksha. The entire essence of the third chapter is like a waker seemingly becomes the dream world, Brahman or Turiya Atma seemingly becomes the waking world. And who is that Brahman? I am that pure Turiya Atma. What is that I? Pure consciousness. Suppose Gaudapada next he says, suppose you accept an argument that Brahman transforms to become the world, like the milk transforms to curd. What will be the tragedy? After the curd is formed, the milk is gone. No more milk is there. After the world is born, created, there will be no Brahman or no God existing after the creation. So what will people say? God has died along after generating the world, after creating the God didn't exist, because you are talking about Parinami Karan. But what does the Upanishad say? Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita, 8th chapter says, Aksharam Brahma, Nityam Brahma. Therefore, how should we understand? Nityam means it is always there. That means it is changelessly creating something. Therefore, it is immortal. Okay, so that is how we have to understand this entire 19th verse. I mean, it's a very beautiful commentary. I'm just explaining to you in a brief way. For those who are very, very interested, by going through this commentary on your own, through the notes on your own, you will really enjoy this particular verse because your intellect has to understand the deeper meaning of this. And once you understand the deeper meaning as Vivarta Karanam, then everything becomes easy. The whole seventh mantra becomes very easy. Seventh mantra of Mandukya Upanishad, where it says it is non-dual, Advaitam. It is Paramarthika Satyam. These are all words, but then it should make a dent in your intellect to understand this. These are all words. The words, Upanishadic words, when they are properly opened, they reveal this truth of Brahman. Others are not able to see because of some cataract problem, some doshas they have got in their intellect. That is what Shankaracharya says. I mean, we have seen Dakshinamurti Stotram in our meditation. Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari, the first verse. What does it say? The same thing. World is appearing in the mirror of our mind. It is an apparent world which is appearing in all our minds. Like snake is an apparent idea in our mind. Similarly, the whole world is like that. This Turiya Atma is not like the clay pot. See, again, Shankaracharya wants to explain that don't look at clay and a pot which is changing cause. Look at waker and dreamer as a changeless cause to understand Turiyam and waking state. Brahma Sutra, this chapter 2, discusses all philosophers. And there is one sutra called Arambana Adhikaranam. And that sutra in Brahma Sutra discusses this Vivarta Karanam and Parinami Karanam in very big detail. Shankaracharya writes a beautiful commentary of Brahma Sutra there in the same topic. So, suppose you say world is not there, then what remains? What exists then? Brahman alone exists. After Srishti, after Layam also, there is one reality which is always there. Knowing that reality as my nature, I get freedom from this body-mind complex. Suppose you say that the world is existing, but Brahman is not there. That is what we are in our ignorant state. Then we will be permanently in samsara. That is what Shankaracharya explains. We'll all be atheists because we'll always say world is there, world is there, world is real, which is what we are when we are entering into Vedanta. Agni, fire is always hot. Fire can never be cold. So, Swabhava of a thing can never change. And that Swabhava of Brahman is what? It is Ajam, birthless. It is Advaitam, it is non-dual, and it is immortal. Amrutam. Aksharam. Aksharam means imperishable. See, we see everything perishable in the world because world is in time space concept. In time, everything gets changed. But here we are talking about something which is changeless, which is formless, which is relationless. Change cannot be possible if it is an intrinsic nature, like heat in the fire. You will never have a cold fire. So similarly, Atma is always Chaitanya. It is always changeless consciousness, awareness. Awareness in the sleep state, awareness in the dream state, awareness in the waking state. Awareness doesn't change. Awareness in the sleep state, we say there is no world, there is no body, there is mind. Shankaracharya says, is that state real or this state where we experience body and mind? In ignorance, we take body mind experiences as real, and the sleep state where Advaita Atma alone is there, we take it as unreal. That is in Ajnani state. So the conclusion is what? Brahman never becomes the world. Brahman appears as the world. Paramatma or God never becomes the world. He appears as the world. Like the waker becomes the dreamer due to avidya of wakerhood. See, in dream state, what is our nature? I am a dreamer. I don't know I am a waker. Therefore, we go through the entire dream experience. In the waking state, what happens? I don't know I am Turiya Atma, pure consciousness, pure awareness. Therefore, I go through all these experiences. These experiences will still continue for all of us, including a jnani, because of the law of karma. But a jnani, he knows how to cross this maya and claim his swarupa. That is the beauty of a jnani. When the jnani gets this knowledge, what will he say? I am always this swarupaha, turiya atma. I am never a jiva. Jiva is just an experience which comes and goes. How does this conversion happen? Like a magic show only. It is an apparent creation. Manisha Panchakam in the first verse and the second verse describes this ignorance and the three moods of the mind, sattva, rajas, and tamas, which cause the waking dream and sleep state. Suppose you cross over your mind and then see the substratum of the mind. That is what is called as a jnani who knows his swarupam as Turiya Atma. Again and again, you should not forget this Turiyam is not something which is far away. It is my own swarupa. The next portion here is just a revision portion. World is eternal. That is what Purva Mimamsa says. It need not be born because it is always there. Whereas for all other philosophers like Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, they all talk about origination of the world. In Advaitam, Ajativada says there is no origination, exactly like Purvamamsa. But only thing is, Advaitam has a different concept of the higher reality and the lower reality. Suppose you accept that creation is real, like the other philosophers like Sankhya, Yoga, and all. You will always have these two questions. What are the two questions? Who is the creator of this world? Nimitta Karanam. What is the material used for creating the world? Upadana. And Shankaracharya says you will never be able to answer these two questions in Dvaitam. As long as you're in Dvaitam, Dvaitam means you are in the subject object mode, triangular format. There is a creator, I am a Jiva, and then I experience the world. Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara. Science also does not accept Ishvara as a creator. See, the thing is that in the Advaitic concept, consciousness is both the material cause as well as the intelligent cause. Like a spider, we have seen in Mandukya Upanishad. Sankhya says Prakriti is the material cause, Panchabhutas. Nyaya Vaiseshika says atoms. Universe is nothing but a assemblage of all atoms, like modern science. What does Veda says? Brahman, the sentient consciousness principle, is the material cause for the world. That is the same mantra we quoted earlier. This is the revision portion. That pure consciousness is the upadana karanam, means material cause for creation, existence, and resolution. Brahman or Turyam is the material cause as well as the intelligent cause. There is no separate material cause and intelligent cause from Vedantic point of view. But what type of this Karanam it is? It is Vivarta Karanam, not a Parinami Karanam. When you use Parinami, it is transformation. Like vegetables, they become dishes. Universe also becomes, if it is Parinami Karanam, it will become the universe. It is transformation, but it doesn't become transformation because we have said it is Nirvikara Sarupa. So in Vedanta, we have to put all the logical reasons which is given in the Upanishads and then form our concept. World is Satyam or Mithya. World is Mithya. Brahman is Satya. And this is known through the Vedic Shabda. The Pramanam, the source of knowledge is the Veda mantras. Like Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Nityo, Nishkalam, Nirgunam, Nirvikaram. These are all words. But ultimately, they reveal the Turiya Atma. Very famous mantra in Bhagavad Gita is Najayate Mriyate Va Kadachit Nayam Bhutva Bhavita Va Na Bhuyah Ajo Nitya Shashvato Yam Puranaha Na Hanyate Hanyamane Sharire. Lord Krishna in the battlefield is telling Arjuna, all these warriors are only seemingly having body and mind and you are fighting and all this. This is Mithya world. What he wants to say is Satya Atma. Ultimately, there is one reality. That reality is unborn. and it is eternal, it is changeless. Now you can see the link between seventh mantra of Mandukya Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita, so the 20th verse. That is how we should, as a student, we should be able to link these mantras and conclude in our own intellect the final truth of Turiya Atma, which is Vivarta Upadana Karana. Now, this Vivarta Upadana Karanam, Turiyam, appears as Ishvara in the Sagunam nature, and it also, the real nature is Nirguna. What is Nirgunam? Nirgunam means without any gunas, without Maya Shakti. When it is without Maya Shakti, in its own nature, what is this Turiyatma? It is Karya, Karana, Vilakshana. Vilakshana means beyond cause and effect. In dream, there is a Triputi. Triputi means what? Observer, observed, and a observing instrument. Observing instrument in dream is what? Our mind. Even in the waking state, the observing instrument is the mind only. The dream is caused by Nidra Shakti. That means the power to go to sleep. The waking state is caused by Ishvara's Maya Shakti. Ishvara has that creator, that Turiya Atma has got a bigger power than our Nidra Shakti. And then whatever we see in the waking state is Ishvara Srishti. It is, you can say the whole waking state is nothing but Ishvara Srishti. The moment you understand, Turiyam is the substract. This verse, Yatho Bhutani, we have already seen. And the two important mantras to prove Brahman or Turiyam is Vivarta Karanam is Yatho Imani Bhutani from Taittiriya Upanishad and Kathopanishad Najayate Briyate Va. The same mantra Najayate also appears in the Bhagavad Gita. So the two mantras I have given here just for remembering. Kathopanishad Najayate Briyate Va. So Brahman doesn't transform, it is only a figurative transformation. So when you understand Vedanta or Upanishad with logic, reasoning, then you have Nishtha. Nishtha means conviction. Suppose you don't go through these type of mantras and commentaries, your intellect will understand for some time during the class, but later on you will say, I forgot. Through reasoning, when you study the Upanishad, like this commentary, then what happens is your intellect takes this knowledge to the subconscious level. Purusha Suttam, I have already told you the verse here. So another point we should remember is this world does not have an existence of its own. It is dependent on Turiya Atma. I am there. That I means pure consciousness is always there as the Adhisthana. Any Mithya Vastu which appears should have some reality behind. Rope snake is Mithya. Rope is the Adhisthana. Similarly, for the world, Jagrat world, waking state, Turiya Atma is the Adhisthana. Knowing this Adhishthanam, I can say the three Sharirams and the three Prapanchas. The three Shariram means at the individual level, the three Prapanchas at the cosmic level, they manifest and unmanifest. These two words, manifest and unmanifest, together is called as Maya. And where is this Maya? It exists in Turiya Atma. So the central message of all the Upanishads is that Atma is birthless, it is non-changing, and it never degenerates. Whereas world always is born, keeps on changing. And it is a magic show is what is we call it as Maya in Advaitic literature. So the nature of the world is Mithya because Brahman is the Vivarta Karan. Tasmat na paramartha satu dvaita prapancha. Therefore, from the Turiya Atma level, we say Dvaita is an apparent observation. In Turiya Atma, which is Vilakshanam, which is Karya Karana Vilakshanam, there is no there is no uh, there is no world. There are three standpoints. One is Vakar, Dreamer, and Turiya. As a Vakar, Jagrat Prapancha is real. As a dreamer, Swapna is real. But what happens as Turiyam? Turiyam, waking and dream, both are not real. Both are Mithya. So this is the end of the 19th mantra, and this is the end of the 14th volume of Shankara Bhashya. Next week, we will start with the 15th volume, which is from verse number 20 to 26. Okay, so this 14, we have finished 13th. Now 14th is what we are going to study. The 14th has got seven mantras, 20 to 26. Totally, there are 48 karikas in the third chapter. We have finished 19. We have to continue the balance verses. Okay, so this 510 we will start next week. See, today's talk, one full talk has been on this one karika. And this being a very important karika, I took it up in very slow fashion. But the main thing is one idea which should remain in your mind throughout our Vedantic classes from now on is consciousness is my real nature. This consciousness appears as this entire waking state and resolves into this waking state resolves into consciousness. Consciousness is Vivarta Karanam. Vivarta Karanam means changelessly it appears. Like the waker appears as a dreamer, I, as consciousness, appear as this body-mind complex. If you can pick up this knowledge from this today's discussion, then you have got the gist of the entire Advaita Veda. Okay, so I will stop here and continue the 14th volume next week. Oh. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I don't see any questions on the chat box. In case you have any questions, you can raise your hand and then you can ask the questions.
Well, it is not easy to ask questions for the subject that you have taught us. It is still
Yes.
sinking in. It is very superficial if you ask a question now. That's what I feel, sir.
No problem. It's okay. Yeah, at least you are able to express such a deep thought process. You've been able to understand. So it takes a very long, it takes some time for one to absorb this knowledge. But it is good. You're able to at least listen to these conversations, listen to these dialogues, and it is a very deep science. And it's extremely important. This commentary is extremely important. See, 15 verses are taken to explain one verse from different Upanishads. This is the brilliant mind of Shankaracharya. Okay, there's one question here. Sundaram is asking why dream world is different in different dreams while Jagrat world is not repeated. Okay, dream world is different because it is coming out of Vasana means it's an impression which is there in your mind. For example, when you, why do you think about certain things today? Because of impressions which you have had in the past. See, you get up in the morning and you start thinking about what I should do today. Why is it so? Because there are some impressions in your mind of yesterday. You thought that I should go to a class, go to work, I should do these things, buy certain things, go to the market, buy these things. So impressions are there in the mind, and these impressions they are brought up in the dream without our will. There is no will involved in dream. So there is some power in the world which we call it as Maya Shakti, which is responsible for our dreams. So dreams is not under our control, it is under the control of Ishvara. So dreams will be different. For different people, the dreams will be different. Each mind is different. Each mind is different, experiences are different, therefore the dreams are different. Dreams are only projections of what we have gathered in not only in this birth, but in several births. Because mind continues. See, many times we are not able to say, why did I dream about this? I have no experience of that in this birth itself. So, during those times, you should understand that it is because of the previous karmas, karma phalam. You see, our entire body is nothing but it is a karma phalam. It is a result of our previous actions. Suppose you look at all your whole life. What have you done during the whole life? You have done karmas. You have done actions every day. Now, all those actions, they have a impression at the end of the action that is stored in your memory. And that memory keeps on coming in different births. So, Sundaram, I hope I've explained to you why dreams are different and they're not repeated again and again because it is just an impression. Waking world is Ishvara's Srishti. Ishvara is projecting this world for the Jiva. So Ishvara, throughout the creation, he has got a plan. He has got he has got a blueprint. For all the Jivas, he will give a certain set of experiences which you are meant to experience in this world during this birth.
Okay.
You have your parents, you have your siblings, you have your son, you have a daughter. Your experiences are specific to you. They are not my experiences. My experiences is my world. So it is some superpower which designs our universe for us. Waking world is designed by Ishvara. It is given, it is because he is the karma phala data. Karma phala data means he gives karma phalams to all the jivas in the waking state. Okay? Thank you. Good question. Anybody else has a question? If there are no questions, then I will stop here. We will continue next week.
I have a query in that only. Dream also, the images, whatever we have, it is brought out by super that what are the Brahma, what a superpower.
Correct.
Then the daytime during Jagrat Avastha also it is brought out by the same superpower.
Exactly.
So why then it is one is different and one is same?
See, we feel that the waking state is the same, but outside, yes, it is same. But you must understand that the waking world is also actually seen in our mind only. The waking state, our ultimately the waking state is our sense organs are seeing the world. But actually, all those impressions are all coming where? It is coming inside our mind. We are seeing our mind in the waking state. We are taking the help of our instruments called as the sense organs. Ultimately, all the perceptions of the eyes, of the ears, how does a jiva experience it? He experiences it only in the form of vrittis, thoughts. So ultimately, it is this. It is a vritti form only. There are certain prarabdha karmas which need this waking state vrittis for exhaustion. There are certain prarabdha karmas which are lower order of karmas where the karma phalams can be exhausted in a dream. So the dream is for certain karma phalams, you will exhaust it. Waking state, it is for certain karma phalams stronger. One is strong karma phalam, one is weaker karma phalam. Both are experienced by the jiva only. The jiva experiences the waking state. The same jiva says, I experience the dream state. So it depends on the type of karma phalam. If it is weaker karma phalam, it goes off in dream. Stronger karma phalams, they require the waking state.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll continue next week. Thank you. Namaste.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Nandu, you had
Hari Om.
you were you saying something?
No, it's fine. Just to
Okay.
say hello.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Shekhar-ji.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Bharat. Namaste to you.
Hello, Chakaji. Can you
Yeah.
hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, sorry, I'm outside. I think this lecture about projection, it's amazing. Like like scientists, they debate how can something be created from nothing, and Shankara and the Upanishads, Shankara beautifully explains it never was. It's just it doesn't matter the fact that something is experienced. The idea is to negate, falsify the snake and see the rope.
Correct. That's all. That is the essence of this entire 19th verse. whatever is the experiences we have, falsify them as Mithya, and then hold on to your consciousness, awareness as Satya.
Beautiful. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you, Bharat.